Everybody sure loves Nintendo's collectible Amiibos, don't they? They're relatively cheap to collect, and they display nicely above your gaming collection as if they're guarding it, which is a good enough reason to buy them right there, but they go the extra mile by offering in-game bonuses that are both nice and at the same time not essential to the games. It's kind of like day one DLC that's already on the disc or cartridge, but instead of just being digital, it comes with a bonus collectible so you at least have something to show for the money you spent. Also, to give you a little more bang for your buck, they usually work with multiple games as well. As great as Amiibos are, though, there is one downside you need to consider before you get carried away and end up with way more than you initially planned like I did. And that's the fact that stepping on these things friggin' hurts. I don't even care if you're Kelsey Grammer, stepping on one of these bad boys is a surefire way to ruin your day. If you're the type of Amiibo collector who keeps them in the box, and you really don't have anything to worry about, but I don't know, I've always just preferred opening them for the in-game content, plus it saves space, and honestly, I think they display much better the way they are. Yeah, that's right, I put wrestling belts into my Amiibos. What can I say, I just can't help myself. I even made Wario the ECW champion, because why wouldn't I? But anyway, despite the fact that stepping on exposed Amiibos can be fatal in 9 out of 15 cases, you shouldn't let that discourage you from picking a few of your favorite characters up at Circuit City, though. And the reason for that's because my crack team of scientists and I have spent countless hours on trying to help reckless jackasses like this guy by determining which Amiibos hurt the most to step on. Because that way, everybody who refuses to pick them up off the floor can responsibly enjoy the hobby, as well as prevent Nintendo from multi-trillion-dollar lawsuits. So sit back in your favorite YouTube viewing chair, hang up on your pill dealer, press the subscribe button if you haven't already, and allow me, the Ayatollah of rock and roll at CameronAllOneWord, to tell you the 10 most lethal Amiibos to step on. Number 10. Shovel Knight. I friggin' love this Amiibo, seeing as how I love the game it came from, and it's probably the most unlikely Amiibo we've gotten so far. However, thanks to the two obvious spikes on his head, stepping on this would be like Hell Week all rolled into one night up in here. To be fair though, it wouldn't really hurt that bad unless you directly stepped on his helmet, and to do that, you'd have to lift your foot pretty damn high. But if the Shovel Knight Amiibo was in the wrong place at the wrong time, then it would probably cause the most concentrated pain on one specific spot of your foot. Number 9. Wolf Link. Compared to the other Amiibos on this list, this one's not really all that sharp. However, there's more than enough uneven edges on this thing for your toes to get caught up in, and should that happen, you're gonna have a pretty bad day. And even though it's not as sharp as other Amiibos, the tail's still pretty goddamn pointy, and something about the way the finger's shaped just makes me uncomfortable. I'm not gonna go into details as to why that may be, but let's just say that I'd rather step on this Amiibo than sit on it. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather go to a hospital for physical damage than to a therapist for emotional damage. Number 8. Detective Pikachu. Given how big, bright, and yellow this Amiibo is, it'd probably be relatively easy to avoid stepping on. However, that also makes it all the more dangerous as well. I mean, there's a lot of sharp points on this, so it'd even suck to step on it if it was knocked over. But the true risk here is not even the poke, it's just simply tripping over it, which would run the risk of tearing your pec or fracturing your ass. Number 7. Ridley. Just look at this pointy friggin' thing. Sure, it's badass, but when they made this thing, were they even thinking of the children? I mean, just look at all the sharp bullshit you gotta look out for here. You've got the head, claws, tail, and as if Ridley wasn't bad enough, there's sharp plastic ice shards hanging off the bottom just to cut you down a little more. The soft wings would probably cushion the blow a little bit, so it might not be that bad to step on it from behind, but if you're walking to this thing head on, then you're probably gonna need to amputate your foot right on the spot. You probably think I'm joking about that, but trust me, if this ever happens to you, then just go ahead and cut it all off, even if you're not bleeding. And don't worry, you can thank me later. Number 6. Monster Hunter Stories Amiibo. I didn't even know Monster Hunter had Amiibos until I randomly came across this one day at a thrift store. But as usual, Japan gets a lot of nice things that the rest of the world doesn't. However, the fact that this Amiibo even exists probably explains why the population over there is declining as fast as it is. Because let me tell you, stepping on this Amiibo can absolutely be fatal. In fact, it's so deadly that it'd take even longer to tell you the states where you don't need a license to own this rather than the ones where you do. Might not be all that bad to step on the chest, but anywhere else and you're a goner, especially if you could somehow lock one of your toes inside the mouthful of plastic sharp teeth. The guy's head, the wing's tips, and pretty much every other edge on this thing are considerably sharp. But the most dangerous aspect here is how the rider actually detaches from the Amiibo, meaning you're twice as likely to step on it, possibly even more than once. By the way, don't tell anyone I'm packing a Monster Hunter Stories Amiibo, because owning one of these without a license in Tennessee is so illegal that I'll go to a federal pound-me-in-the-ass prison if I ever get caught. I mean, I would try to get a license, but I don't exactly have the best record, so do me a solid here, will ya? Number 5. 8-Bit Mario and Link. I couldn't choose which of these Amiibos would hurt more to step on, but either way, you're frigged for the same reason, so pick your poison. Not only are these pixelated Amiibos sharp, but there's also like 800 edges to them, so it doesn't even matter what angle you approach these at, because you might as well just be stepping on thumbtacks while you're at it. Number 4. Bowser. This one's actually one of my personal favorite Amiibos, but it's also one of the most painful to step on for the exact same reason, and that's obviously because of the goddamn spikes. And to make matters worse, the rest of his body's pretty brutal too, so even if you step on him while he's knocked over, you're still doomed no matter what. It's worth mentioning that the wedding Bowser would be pretty horrible to step on too, but at least the top hat shows you an ass hair of mercy. So if a criminal in a hostage situation ever demands that you step on a Bowser amiibo, then at least try to get him on a technicality and pick the wedding one. Number 3. Legless Peach. Sure, it might not hurt that bad to step on this, but you know what? This friggin' thing's expensive, and if I ended up breaking it, I'd probably cry a lot harder than the pain from any of the previous amiibos on this list. In fact, it's so expensive that this channel's budget damn sure can't afford it, so I'm not even gonna risk stepping on it in the stock footage. Instead, I'm just gonna kind of go ahead and... yeah, perfect. I mean, this is the same thing pretty much, it's just not as expensive, alright? Number 2. The Guardian. If you're the military general of a country who's about to be invaded by indigenous barefooted tribesmen, then you're not going to want to surround the motherland with some lame, boring-ass landmines. Instead, what you're going to want to do is spread Guardian amiibos around the motherland, because holy hell, would this thing be a nightmare to step on or what? Yeah, it might seem like a good idea to blow invaders up with landmines, because it would technically kill them faster. But the made-up tribe I'm talking about right now is hell-bent on world domination, and they're definitely prepared to take a few casualties along the way. What they're not prepared for, however, is the slow, agonizing death one would have to endure to make it past even one Guardian amiibo. I mean, I'll tell you right now, if I stepped on one of these things in the comfort of my own home, let alone a battlefield, then I'd just go ahead and end it all right there. It's not ultra sharp, but it covers a wide area that not only makes it harder to avoid in the first place, but it also thrashes more of your foot. The worst case scenario would have you stepping on the very top of one of these, which is bad enough as it is. But then after you lose your footing, the way down's far enough to make stubbing your toe or even tweaking your tootsie far more likely. That is, if one of your toes aren't intercepted by one of the legs anyway, which might actually be better. But either way, you'd still be going through hell, so just go ahead and give me some of that stuff under the sink that my neighbor Terry's always drinking, because I'm pretty sure it'd be enough for me to put myself out of my misery. Number 1. The Chris Farley amiibo. You probably don't even know about the Chris Farley amiibo, and to tell you the truth, I honestly don't blame you. According to the gaming historian, nobody really knows the full story behind it, but it was most likely made in the super early stages of amiibo development for the movie Shrek, which we all know by now that Farley was supposed to star in, by the way. However, once Farley bit the big one, all traces of his involvement in the movie were scrapped. But this didn't stop Nintendo from fighting tooth and nail for the rights to Chris's name and likeness, but they ultimately lost to his surviving family members. But not before they were able to make the only known prototype of the Chris Farley amiibo you see before you. So far, it hasn't worked for any of the games I've tried it for yet, and you might be wondering what makes it so painful to step on, and, well, you're right, stepping on this wouldn't necessarily hurt that bad. However, given that the amiibo is not only rare and expensive, but Farley's been on record on multiple occasions as saying that having his very own amiibo is the only way he'd ever feel like he truly made it. He even said that without one, his career meant absolutely nothing to him, if you believe that. So out of respect for the late great national treasure that was Christopher Crosby Farley, stepping on this amiibo would make me feel sick to my ass. And if you could honestly step on this without feeling anything, then I don't even want to know you, cause you're nothing but scum to me. But anyway, that's my list. Despite how it may look, I honestly don't even consider myself an amiibo collector. I've just kinda come across like 75% of the ones I own at $5 or less. And before I knew it, well, this happened. My point is that there's a lot of amiibos out there I don't have, and I'm sure I missed some that are pretty lethal. So if you know of any that I missed, then go ahead and let me know in the comments below, or if you think you can endure stepping on any of the ones I mentioned, then go ahead and lie to me in the comments as well. And as always, I'll try my goddamnedest to respond to everybody. But let me tell you, if there's 2 people tough enough to endure everything on this list, then it would definitely be today's patrons of the day, Curry Chicken Man and Alec Duncan. If you want to be badasses like these two, then consider supporting FU Game Crew on Patreon for loot boxes in the mail and other wacky rewards. And if you want to make a cameo, then send pictures or videos of you rocking any FU Game Crew merch like these legendary human beings you see before you. As always, like and share this video anywhere on the internet to help this channel grow. And if you want to prove that you're not down with registered sex offenders, then go ahead and press the subscribe button if you haven't already. My name's CameronAllOneWord, and I'll be back with more videos soon.
So I want to say thank you to your loyalty, thank you for your support.